I really actually like Shaka's Boldum. He was landing a ton of sick wild prisons and wild charges. The changes needed to come in the jungle primarily because they completely lacked damage on No Mercy. I don't know if that was just because they were bullied out of the early game and Rourke takes a while, or if that was No Mercy fumbling.
But look at Nova. Tulin, no sir, no thank you, not today. Tulin taken away now immediately. That was the quickest lock-in I think we've had in Latin America thus far. Sephora gets put back onto Nova Esports, though we could have the option of her getting flex to the support, so we don't want to get that locked in just yet.
Ace1 can now get Elsu as well as Annette. And that is a devastating combination to have. I would have liked the draft in the sense that they changed the ban of Elsu into a Tulin. They've had great success with Elsu on the side of Nova LATAM, so I would have liked for them to actually have picked up the Elsu instead of Sephora.
Annette locked in. Elsu seems to be the obvious choice as the second for Ace1, and now Nova, with their second and third pick here in Phase 1, need to make a decision.
I'm actually call this out though. We've seen a ton of Elsus over the last few weeks. If your team doesn't feel comfortable playing them, they can badly hurt your team. You need to be able to run them on your normal roster. Fran needs to be able to pick this up and run with it, and if he isn't able to, that roster is hurt irreparably.
Liliana now being hovered over by Nova Esports. As an opportunity to get that out of the hands of eBuddy. Remember, this was banned away in game number 1 to make sure that eBuddy did not get onto that Liliana as an opportunity arises for them. First, for the Phase 1, what do you think in Envision?
So the thing I'm thinking right now, in Phase 1, now Ace need to secure themselves a mid lane because they know the enemy has Liliana. So they can counter Liliana, but at the same time, they want to have the middle because we're going into the second ban phase, which means that's going to be 2 bans on the characters you would like to have in that middle. For example, Flash, or potentially even Jinnar, or something along those lines. I would like Ace1 to secure themselves the middle right now.
This needs to be a Raz, otherwise Ace1 don't have anything eBuddy can play well. We did see, like, this is really dastardly planning, as you were saying, Marek, because Nova Esports have just taken away the vast majority of eBuddy's pool. And if they go for the Raz right now, which I expect they won't.
Nope, they don't want it. Instead, they pick the Omen.
So now they're in trouble because this should be Raz Jinnar, and then there's nothing he can play.
We also have to make sure to highlight on that Violet as well. We glossed over that one because of the mid lane conversation. However, Nova hard committed to an early Violet pick. Does this bode well for them?
They need the Violet to counter the Elsu, because you need to be able to outrange him inside basic attack fights. But it should be in jungle.
Hold up, Lindis is still open.
Yes.
So I'd imagine Lindis making an appearance in the ban pool of Nova right now. Otherwise, Ace will get that pick for free.
Max being banned away by Ace1, followed up by a Cricknack for Nova Esports. Puzzling question for them.
Yeah, Nova Esports want to get rid of the melee assassins because though you could draft a Lindis, Ace1 are really going to look for someone who can chase and follow up on Elsu's snipes. You want to, if you're relying on the Elsu to land the snipes, they're going to be looking for someone that can dive into the backlines once the Elsu's landed the snipes and guarantee the kill. So if you're continuing along that line, this should be either the Raz ban for mid or another melee assassin ban like a Nakroth.
Well, Zenial as well was the final ban away by Ace1. The decision of Nova Esports of do they want to continue with the side lane or does it want to be in the mid? Your prediction is correct, TJ. Raz taken off the board, which means Ace1 now can secure themselves their first pick of the second phase.
This should be their jungle at this point because the second... oh, okay. I was going to say because there's no way that Nova draft another mage, but Ace1 seem unconcerned by that. They're waiting to see what else comes through in the side lanes for Nova before they would commit to a decision. But it could be any of these in the jungle or mid. I think Ace1 have a lot of options.
So whatever they're going to go for, they can actually counter the 2 last picks of Nova Esports. So if they go for middle, they can utilize the jungle better because they can have a good jungler up against the 2 picks that Nova can have as their last 2 picks.
Kali,
I'd like this Kali.
It's going to be the hover. That forces them into making sure they still continue to have a solid front line. Kali gets locked in for eBuddy in the mid lane, though. Nova Esports, with this knowledge, have an opportunity to secure themselves the 4-5 and round out their composition.
They need dive. If they don't get dive here, if they don't get frontline tanks here, they may be screwed. because they need the ability to both eat the L2 snipes and the Ethereal Pulse without dying. Right now, everyone on their team dies to one good Ethereal Pulse or L2 snipe.
Where does that fall in line, though?
I'd look for this to be maybe a... Oh, I wouldn't have said Superman. I'd look for this to be maybe a Malik, something along those lines. Ubeneth would certainly work.
Yeah, Ubeneth would be incredible in the composition that they have right now, but that leaves the question of where Sephira is going to go.
She's going to support. Yeah, Liliana's in the mid lane. Sephira will be at the support.
Oh yeah, he's going to be solo.
Side lane Ubeneth. It's the meta.
It's the meta. Apparently it is.
Last pick for Ace1 should now be some kind of dive character. I'd look for a Nacroth or something with similar dive mobility, because you're going to need to be able to get past the Ubeneth and murder the Violet in the backlines.
Yeah, I mean, Nova's teamfight is looking actually pretty scary. If they can utilize all of their spells correctly, there's nothing Ace1 can do up against them. I mean, Ubeneth is going to be able to get everybody onto the same spot. Then Superman comes in with the speeding bullet. And then we're going to have all sorts of chaos, because Liliana is going to have that blinding light as well. We're going to have Violet sticking around with those tactical fires. Just a lot of AoE going around.
A lot of this second game rests on Shaka for me. Depending on how he runs in the support role, this may or may not decide the entire course of the game, because they need the ability to defend their team against big burst damage and dive.
3 seconds. 3 seconds left remaining. They're going to take it down to the wire, gentlemen. And what's it going to be? It's going to be a Murad.
Yeah, Murad's definitely an interesting pick. I mean, we saw Vex on Murad earlier, unable to secure themselves a victory. Will that work for Ace1? Well, we're going to have to see, but Murad is definitely a good pick. Will work wonders up against Liliana and Violet backline. I mean, Sephira is a little bit a tougher stone to crack there, because Sephira does have the Tides of Life to save herself from the ultimate of Murad.
Okay, so change-up's happening. No, we get there in the end, it looks like. It will be Ubeneth in the side lane, Sephira on support. Opposing them, so here's my worry about the Murad. The Murad doesn't have a whole bunch of actual mobility. He has burst mobility. He dives in, he gets into the backline, he does his burst of damage, and then he leaves. And he can't really chase people should they survive the initial temporal turbulence. So Flex is going to need to basically out-farm everyone else on the map in order to be able to actually get those kills. He needs to be able to one-shot the squishies, otherwise he won't get the kills.
He does have the bonus, though, of having laners that can handle themselves in the 1v1. This is something that you always have to have as a concern. When you play a jungler that needs to get farmed up early, you're relying on your team to essentially survive the early game, so you're not having to be forced to show that much pressure in those lanes. Of the 3 solo lanes that they have, all of those heroes are capable of holding their own. It just comes down to the players individually handling them by themselves.
I would say Ace1 is not looking to rely on Murad actually closing out these kills, because they have Kali as well. So Kali can close out the remaining health that the opposition has with just the ultimate coming through. So I would imagine they have a pretty solid composition, and with the Elsus poke as well, they have incredible range.
That was going to be my next follow-up with this, is we actually have to take a look at the fact that Ace1 is a very solid poke composition. They have the opportunity to, if they can get ahead and manage their waves correctly, to siege upon the enemy towers and throw endless amounts of poke from the Kali to the Murad as well as the Elsu. While you throw that Omen on a side lane to try something out, there is an opportunity for Ace1, but it's going to come down to execution. They were able to do so in Game 1, but will they be able to repeat the process as Nova is out for blood?
Well, straight off the bat, we're going to have a poke war in the middle of the map there, as Nova are looking for a little bit of blood to spill in the early game here, but they don't find anything just now as the party splits up. We're going to have Ace1 against Nova, kind of going on a little bit of slower notice.
So this mid-battle entirely revolves around the damage being dealt by the poke into Shaka. Because Sephira is very, very, very good until they start getting poked significantly. And then you need to start choosing. Do I spend my Tide of Life to dodge this Ethereal Pulse, to dodge this snipe? Or do I spend it later on in the fight? Can I survive this?
That indeed is going to be the question, as Ebody gets caught out straight up, and 0-0-8 and closes it out. What a play coming through from Nova. They come out of the gate swinging.
That's what 0-8 needed to do, because a lot of this game also revolves around him. He's the only frontline tank that can survive the bursts of damage coming through. He's the one they'll rely on to tank the long-range poke.
Well, this is what's going to happen right now as Shaka gets another kill to his name, and Nova, they lead 2-0 to quick kills coming through.
On the other hand, if none of the poke ever gets farmed, it won't matter that they built poke. They need to be able to get out ahead, and I said this particularly of Flex, in order to do the damage necessary to win. In order to be a threat, they need to be so far ahead.
Oh, Fran is gonna get over here up against four people. There's gonna be the back away coming through. Shaka's tanking up the tower, but finally Fran has gone down. There's the flicker forward, double stun come through. The snipe just round things out as well. Nova 5-0.
That is disgusting.
Oh, finally, Flex does come in as that Murad does put the temporal turbulence down, but has to back away from this one. Abyssal Dragon is going to go down onto the hands of No Mercy as Nova is going to be able to secure that one. Fusock gets caught out by Muster on that Superman.
This is bullying, Marek. It's rude.
See, this is what I came in expecting from the LATAM region. A lot of rotations, a lot of action happening, and finally, I'm greeted by a fantastic start to a game. That's 5 kills in 2.5 minutes, basically, which means that's roughly 2 kills every 30 seconds.
And Shaka sitting atop the pile of corpses with 3 of the assists and 2 of the kills, meaning he's been relevant to every kill so far.
Yeah, Liliana goes for the same amount of stats as he has 1 kill and 4 assists to his name. So they've been rotating across the map, and that combination is absolutely devastating. The Sephira-Liliana combo. One gets the blinding light while the other stuns up the opposing team as well. And that's an absolutely deadly combination. And as I said, going into the team fights, it's going to be an even deadlier combo here as Ace1 are going to get poked away from this tower. Shaka is going to go down, and he's going to go for the kill there on the back line. Shaka gets it. Finally, that's 3-0-3 in his pocket. Justly is now in a little bit of trouble as eBuddy doing all that he can with those auto attacks, but he doesn't have enough farm to cause any major damage. Nova, they're just sticking around for the tower now, and they're looking to take it. The auto attacks are going to come through, but it's not going to matter. Flex comes in from the side, but he's not going to be able to do anything here as Ace, they are absolutely in chaos.
Beautifully done by Shaka. They're using the water wall to stun up the Murad upon his engage. Because they did that, he doesn't die. Any other combination, and he dies.
That is true, but Nova, they're going to be looking for redemption. No Mercy did tank up to tower. There's the tactical fire coming through, but it's only going to be onto a small minion. Flex going to be coming in, but No Mercy has denied the Murad the chance to jump in the middle. There's Ties of Life being popped as well. Fran has missed and snipe coming through. Shaka's going to have to run away from this one. The snipe from Elsu's going to be there, and that's a 5 gold thing going in favor of Fran there, but he does get the ult there. Finally, first kill on the board for Ace1. They might be looking for more. The tower has gone down. No Mercy gets stunned up from the tactical fire. He gets down finally. That's another kill going through into the hands and the pockets of an Ace1.
But they lose their key players. Fran goes down, Fusock goes down, Ace1 are struggling, and they need to do better, particularly with regards to Fran, who we anchored a lot of this game's hopes on. In contrast to last game, where he played the Valheim that farmed up so quickly, they need to get to late game before that Elsu's going to start really hitting.
Well, indeed they do. They just have to survive the early game. If they get into the late game, they are going to have a better chance of taking this one home. But at the same time, the later this game goes on, the beefier the side of Nova will get as well. So that poke composition will not have a chance of scaling up as fast.
Already. Oh, that Abyssal Dragon will go over to No Mercy. Flex again called out.
He's going to go down here. And Ace1, they're looking to back away from this one. Nova, they come for the kill and they get one as well, but they got the Abyssal Dragon. In terms of the objectives, that's a crucial one for them. Nova, No Mercy, gets a snipe to the face from Elsu. 0-8 gets the same treatment. There's the ultimate of Gali coming through as well, but it's a little bit of a poke. Fusock gets rotated on as well on the top. There's no escape, I'm afraid, but he goes in. He doesn't care for escape. He's looking for a kill, but Superman is there, and the speeding bullet will mean that the displacement's gonna be there, and Fusock doesn't get anything.
He tried very hard to shut down No Mercy. And we are seeing, to his credit, with that Fafnir's Talon build, he already has the penetration. This is a much more snipe-focused build coming out from the Fran on Elsu, and that's giving him the potential to do more damage. Unfortunately, the rest of his team is losing across the map.
Well, 12-3 in terms of scoreline, and finally the mail coming through for Ibanez as well. So it's going to be so difficult bringing him down, especially on the side of Ace1. They have so much relying on that physical damage coming through for their team, or the attack damage. So, I mean, it's going to be difficult. They need to get themselves into the late game, but as of now, they can't even hold any objectives.
I think the idea is that Fran's going to be power farmed at this point. They just want to be able to get Fran as much farm as possible, and if they can do that, maybe they can get back in this game. And I think that is their best hope. Rely on the snipes to carry you through. The Kali will get there eventually, given enough time. And the Annette doesn't really need farm in order to land the win cuffs.
The problem is right now, Murray's not doing a whole lot in terms of gold as well. You look at Murray, he's one of the lowest one in his team. He needs farm crucially because Murray is one that can demolish the backline before a fight even starts.
But I almost think you need to accept that. Say, we're not going to get there. I'm sorry, Flex, you're not doing... That was a sick little iframe. He dodged that with his unpredictable.
But that was still little to no damage from Murray.
The important thing is that Flex isn't going to get there at this point, so you just need to start worrying about getting the parts of your team that are going to get there farmed up. Key among that is Fran, currently defending that tower in the bottom lane.
Well, skirmishes is going to be defending the top lane up against the Omen, who did back away from that fight. Finally, Nova, they're looking for a little bit more, and they're going to back away themselves as well. So, taking a little bit of a slower pace to this game.
Fuzok, they have to know he's in the bushes. Sir Muster's checking him. Fuzok will just run right past him. The unpredictable lets him free, but there are so many players.
What is happening? Why did they not collapse on him? Fuzok was so out of position there.
He had the unpredictable. He just zoomed past Sir Muster before he could line up the attack. That was very good timing and an understanding of what it's like to play Superman, because you need to aim with that movement. He wasn't able to turn around in the tight turning angle he had.
Yeah, but he did have 3 of his remaining teammates
Shaka
on the small camp there, so they should have had Fuzok there. But in the end, Fuzok does get away, so Ace1 don't lose another member. The game has calmed down just a little bit there right now as Dark Slayer is being done by Nova Esports.
Oh, bot lane though, Fran deleted by Sir Muster. It's a narrow thing, but he gets the kill. Now the Dark Slayer fight breaks out. Fuzok caught out again.
Yeah, he's gonna go down here. Ace1, they're looking really weak right now as Jastly, he's gonna be trying to run away from this 3-member squad of Nova Esports. He's gonna be utilizing the ultimate as well. And there's the Pharah moving forward. The Spirit is gonna connect, but the auto attack doesn't follow, so Jastly is gonna be able to survive. Flex gonna dash forward, and there's the stun onto 0-8. Another one for good measure, and the ultimate coming through as well. 0, he's healing up. Flex is going low. Oh, what a turnaround coming through from Ibanez.
Gross. That was legitimately disgusting. I don't know what you do against that, apart from not 1v1 a Ibanez who's that far ahead of you.
Yeah, I mean, Flex has no damage. It's hard to see what the game plan for Ace1 is right now.
It has to be Fran, but Fran just got called out all by himself. He is building, he does still have the most gold on the team, and that puts him about on par with everyone opposing him. But he just needs to be so hard protected during these fights. Fuzok.
Yeah, Dark Slayer is going to be attempted here, coming through from Nova. Will the side of Ace1 be able to steal it? No, they won't. Fuzok is in a little bit of a trouble there. He's going to go down. Meanwhile, eBuddy is going down low as well. Elsu is not in the fight there for
He's getting
Ace1,
a missile.
Flex is low HP. He's going to go down as well. That's a double kill. Actually, make that 3 for the side of Nova.
Fran's getting Abyssal though, that's his whole plan, and I really appreciate it. Now that he's got the Enraged Abyssal buff, eBuddy maybe can clear this way with an Ethereal Pulse, and that might have meant that they could have held the game.
Well, they cannot hold the game right now because Superman's flying in, doesn't get the dash back with the rest of the team, but Ace1 is in shambles. They're looking for more, but they cannot get anything right now as Nova Esports clean up the game, and what a game it was indeed. Nova, straight from minute 1, they were looking for action and they got everything going for them.
This is another team I feel falling into the Elsu trap. Because you pull out an Elsu, it changes how you want to play the game. The thing that gave them the victory in game 1 was how they got such an early lead and ran with it. Game number 2, they never get that opportunity.